Hello everyone and welcome back. Can you believe that another month is over and it's time for the September Allotment Tour? I actually really wish I'd done this yesterday. It was a beautiful evening yesterday. The sun was shining. It was gorgeous. It's a bit more overcast. In fact, it looks like it might rain later, but it is what it is. So let's get to it. Okay, so the dogs are here and they're insisting that it's their tea time. So there might be a lot of background noise, but we're going to try and get it done. Okay, at last, the mini greenhouse is empty for the season. Nothing left in here, but I do need to have a really good prune of that bush that's coming over from my next door neighbour's garden. I've got strawberries still in their bucket. They're very happy here despite the fact that they're all really crammed in. I've got loads of runners that I should, every now and again I try to remember to stick them back in. Catmint. Now I've got plans for this area. If you've seen my videos before, this soil is super sandy and everything that I've planted in here has really struggled in the dry weather in the summer. So I have plans to try and fix it and just build up the soil layer a bit over winter. So at the moment it's just looking a bit neglected, I think. The catnip's looking a bit sad, so that needs a bit of love. My plum tree is already very much in the autumn. I've got some cosmos late planted that's sort of promising that it might flower. So let's see what happens there. My black currant, again, very autumn, but with some new growth for next year already showing. I always forget about this little thyme, but this is the only thing that likes to live in this bed. That's where the strawberries used to live, and that's now empty. And there's still just a teeny tiny bit of rhubarb showing. I dug up, there was a lemon balm in here which I've dug up. That marker is for some wild garlic. And then my cherry tree, which was slightly less sad in this bed. The pig pen, as it is fondly referred to, still has loads of tomatoes in it. There's even some aubergines, just some baby ones. Basil, and I planted out recently some spring onions, which seem to be doing quite well. Despite the fact that it's the end of September, I finally have a cucumber. That is the first and only cucumber of this year. So many tomatoes still. But I took out some along here because they were starting to get a bit blighty. Compost bins. What's the compost bin doing? Ooh, full of bugs. And then we've got the pond. We'll visit the pond now. Whilst I can definitely say that the watercress is surviving, it is definitely not killing off the algae. So I'm still going to have to find something that I can do with that, because my pond is not big enough for that much algae. What have we got over here? Okay, the fruit bed. Again, I've taken out some tomatoes. There was a tomato there. I've still got some aubergines going. I've got some raspberries that are starting to recover. I actually think that this one might have died. I'm going to have to check out. That feels very dead wood, so we might need to do some replacement ones. I didn't water this bed at all in the drought, so it's not super thrilled. But similarly, the garlic chives have finally recovered. I think I cut these back in early spring, and they did not grow back, and then this growth has come, I'm pretty sure, since the last time I recorded a allotment tour video. Some bedding plants which seem to actually be coming back for a second wind. And then the new rhubarb seems to be living its best life. Not as happy as the parsley. I did not realise that I accidentally stopped the video, so I've just done about 10 minutes of this allotment tour talking to myself, so I'm going to try and recreate it for you so you get a complete experience. Okay, so I think I said something about the parsley. So there's loads of parsley. I cut a big load of this back and it's still absolutely giant, so this will be never-ending parsley. Then we've got the globe artichoke, which is doing quite well, but hasn't grown loads actually. The perennial Welsh onions are not quite ready to pick again, although there are a couple of individual ones that I probably could. And then this is the tarragon. It's gone absolutely nuts. It's so huge. And this is yesterday evening when I was in the allotment, and it was a beautiful evening. I could smell this from the other side of the allotment, and mixed in also with the winter savoury, which we'll see in the other bed in a minute, and it was just like the greatest aroma. Although I do also enjoy, there's still some lavender around, because that does make for a very fragrant and pleasant trip into the greenhouse, where we shall go next. It hasn't rained since my improvised water collection system was put in, so I can't tell you whether or not that's working. But the greenhouse is looking pretty good. I think I've shown you before. Got a couple of cabbages that I've potted up, coriander that I've potted up, basil that I've potted up. I now have 4 spinach seeds germinated. This coriander needs potting up. I've potted up the dill, and that's come along. I only did that. Was that yesterday? I think I did that yesterday. And look how that's grown loads just overnight. I've sown some lettuces. This is a winter variety, Valador. That hasn't germinated yet. I've got a kale, just waiting for that to get a bit bigger before it goes out. A chilli. So this chilli probably needs a feed, but it has got potential to still be fruiting. And then I need to cut back that lettuce and eat it. I think it was my last video I shared with you where I harvested all the green tomatoes. So they're just sat here slowly going red, and every now and again I grab a handful of red ones out for the kitchen. I've got another baby aubergine. That one's ready to pick. In the pot, and my asparagus have made their way in here, although I'm not entirely certain that they're looking especially healthy. They might need a feed. I'm a bit nervous. Maybe you can tell me whether or not it's worth putting them out now, or if I should try and keep them alive and put them out in the spring. So if any of you have any advice or guidance on that, I would be very grateful to receive it. And then we've got the tomato cuttings. these are all really falling down, so I put this crossbar in the hopes that it would give it some support. It seems to be working. Maybe there's a better way to do it. Let me know what you think. These ones I hadn't actually pinched out at all, and they were looking really tired, so I gave them a big tidy up, and they look so much better today. There are some flowers here. I think I saw a couple with maybe some fruit on that side, and then these ones where I haven't got a crossbar but probably should put one on. I've got quite a lot of fruit. So yeah, very happy with that. The highest temperature was 46 degrees, but we're getting closer. This morning certainly felt like we were coming up on some frosts, so I might need to start closing the greenhouse at night times now. Alrighty, let's carry on. Cut flower bed. It's pretty much the same. A lot of the flowers are still going, but I have gotten rid of all the courgettes. They'd stopped fruiting. That one was giant, and I only had about 5 courgettes off it. It was really disappointing. But what I love, and I see this from my kitchen window, look, the cosmos and the sunflowers are all out. The fennel is also flowering. I'm trying to regularly deadhead the dahlias, so I keep getting more dahlia flowers every now and again, and it's just generally really jolly. And then my dry sandy bed that nothing likes to grow in. Again, I've cleared out some of the tomatoes and the 2 courgettes in here. The winter savoury is still just so amazing. The thyme in here is doing really well. This is where the asparagus is going to go, because apparently it's asparagus like sandy soil. I have got a lot of sorrel in there, which I should really eat, but I've realised I don't eat salad. I like a little bit of salad, but I don't actually eat a lot of salad. So I might need to get rid of some of that. I have a foxglove that is growing itself. Bed. Again, I think because there's been some rain, there's finally some fresh new growth on this rosemary. So I picked some of that recently. There's still a thyme in there, although it's not doing its job of keeping the weeds down. The weeds all seem to be growing through it. Purple sage isn't doing too bad. Grapevine, I don't know, should this have grown more? I don't know. But hopefully it's doing okay. And then my favourite sage, I gave this another huge trim the other day. Dried up all the leaves and ground them into my pot of herbs. This is now the official compost bin. So all of the garden waste is just going in here directly. And then we've got, I think that's strawberry mint, a raspberry. I moved these and I found some raspberries on these bushes. I thought they were summer fruiting raspberries, so no idea what was going on there. This one is apple mint. This is the lemon balm that came out of the back border. That's doing really well. Due a cut actually. A peppermint and another raspberry. And you've seen me working in this last bed, because this is where currently everything gets planted out when I don't have anywhere else to put it. So we've got beetroot. I can't remember what that was. Was that pak choy or turnips? more beetroot, some beans that haven't really done anything, because I think they just got choked out by all the tomatoes that were in here, really. So it's my own fault. But I'm not expecting them to do anything, so I might just chop and drop those for green manure. And then again, in my most recent video, you saw me find this garlic and plant it out. That's doing well, although something, and I'm going to blame a dog, has just pulled that one out. I'm going to drop that back in and hope for the best. And then I've got some little rows of pak choi, and I planted out 2 kale where some tomatoes used to be. It was a very bent and twisted cosmos. And then you'll laugh at me for this. I thought this, when I planted this out in the summer, was all chard, but actually some of it's beetroot, and I know they're related, but even so, that's really silly. So yeah, but I've still been munching away on the leaves. These are really good for stir fries, and they grow, unlike spinach, which just doesn't want to do anything in my garden. These are all of my huge tomatoes. These have been my favourite tomatoes of the whole season. These are orange banana, and these have been perfect in sandwiches. I think I've mentioned to you before that I don't eat a lot of tomatoes. Like, I don't eat tomatoes in salad. I tend to cook with them or eat them in sandwiches. Top recommendation. Oh, look at this huge one. That can go back in the greenhouse. Okay, so I think there's only one area left to show you today, and that's behind the greenhouse, which is now home to my blueberries. And I've been waiting all year for autumn blueberry plants, because isn't that just stunning? The colours on these, look at this one, it's like it's on fire. My absolute favourite. And again, I can see these from the windows in the house. It brings me so much joy. I think I really need to pull all the apples off the trees. I am sure they are ready. I didn't mean to bring the stick with it. Oopsie. So, that was the allotment in September. Quite a significant shift, I think, for where we were in August. We're fully in the autumn now, and it really feels it. The air feels autumny. Many of the plants are sort of starting to go to sleep, and new and different crops are becoming available. So it doesn't stop. It just sort of slows down a little bit, I think. Loads of jobs still to do. Well, I say still to do. Things that I would like to get done, because at the end of the day, everything is optional. Next month in October, the nights will start to get darker. So the pockets that I get in the evening to come out and just do little jobs will diminish. And that's what I love about this time of year. That's what I love about September, is that you've lost the heat of the summer, but you've still got the light. And like, I enjoy being back out in the garden again, just sort of pottering around, whimsically pleasing myself. So there's probably a lot more gardening that's gone on in between videos than was happening over the summer, when I just find the summer months really hard work. But it's autumn again. Time for cozy fires and soups and cardigans. So please let me know what you think of my garden in September. I hope you love it as much as I do. And let me know what's going on in your gardens at the moment. I'd really love to hear about your reflections and your plans on your summer season, and I'll think about mine and hopefully share them with you in the comments as well. Alrighty, take care. Bye bye.